How to estimate solutions flexibility. In this course you will learn: what does flexibility mean in business and technology? Why solutions flexibility is so important in the current economic environment? Which of the metrics of flexibility are business and technology agnostic? What the steps of flexibility estimate are? How to apply solutions flexibility and how to promote innovations that require extra investment but promise high return. In an environment that changes fast and frequently, an organization has to embrace change if it wants to win. A company's behavior and even its organization have to be efficient all the time to survive and to differentiate itself in the market. Some experts use the term agility instead of efficiency in order to outline that efficiently doing things does not help the organization, but moving in sync with market changes and doing this efficiently is what any organization needs. In an environment that changes fast and frequently, an organization has to embrace change if it wants to win. A company's behavior and even its organization have to be efficient at all the time to survive and to differentiate itself in the market. Some experts use the term agility instead of efficiency in order to outline that efficiently doing unnecessary things does not help the organization, but moving in sync with market changes and doing this efficiently is what any organization needs. Thus, if a business is looking for efficiency, it has to take care of flexibility in both areas of the organization, in the business itself and in the technology. This means that solutions accepted by the organization have to be flexible in both business and technology. The world is changing. It's changing rapidly, and it isn't going to stop changing ever. Technology advancements and other market trends are accelerating at an exponential pace, and they won't wait around for companies to adjust. For those companies that don't unfold flexibility, changes in the business environment can mean significant setbacks. For those who actually resist change, they can spell disaster. Well, now we know why so many companies have not survived the crisis. They could not adapt their value chains to the changes in the environment. When the rate of change outside exceeds the rate of change inside, the end is in sight, said the legendary CEO of General Electric, Jack Welch. In a contemporary business market, a value of business flexibility in adopting changes is higher than anything else. Business flexibility may be easily obtained via business services, which could be composed and recomposed into different combinations on demand. So, solutions flexibility is the ability to make whatever internal changes are necessary to respond effectively to the changing outward environment and as quickly as possible. In other words, you're ready for adopting external changes all the time, and your solutions should support you. If the change happens in the market, solutions flexibility means that you're able to turn this change into an opportunity by adjusting to the new paradigm speedily. How an enterprise used to respond to changes. It is amazing how much effort people make to demonstrate that the familiar and reliable engine could at one time be in perpetual motion to serve them forever. A business process management, BPM, is a good example of this. To survive, BPM crusaders insist now that a business process is a flexible model. In contrast, a process, and the business process in particular, should be unchangeable by definition. If one creates a structure of business processes properly, the process works towards its own stability. On the one hand, this facilitates the creation of a silo for each process. On the other hand, one monolithic process wants to own everything around it. If a business organization were built on the structure of business processes only, it would not be able to cope with the dynamics of an external environment. Any deviation of process execution from its logic and step values is a change. Any change is a disturbance to a process. A change can break stability and thus compromise the quality of a process, leading to the outcome defects. If changes happen frequently and at different points of the organization, a structure of processes faces a risk of massive destruction, dysfunction, and finally can crash. Thus, the job of BPM is to eliminate changes. Some business process specialists have recognized the economic reality of our time and proclaimed an alternative opinion, saying that a process may be very agile to the changes. We assume that being agile to changes means being able to adapt as needed. That is, flexible process defeats the purpose of BPM. However, when we talk about adoption of a change in a process, we really mean not a change in the process logic, which is immutable, but a change in external things, actions or action providers that the process uses. In other words, there is no such thing as a changed process. To adopt a change, we create a new process every time. Strictly speaking, the process flexibility does not exist. Flexibility scale. A business that is able to anticipate changes in consumer preferences and alter production to meet those new expectations has a much better possibility of continuing over the long term. For this reason, including a measurement of flexibility within the company operations is often considered the key to assessing the strength of the business, and thus arriving at an accurate understanding of the potential for business endurance. Business flexibility now demands that solutions would be flexible enough to adopt business changes with minimal investments in system alteration, and with minimal investments into the alteration of the surrounding systems, and altogether should be done in minimal time. This is how I define system flexibility. This is in sharp contrast with the pragmatic practice used in the old days, which preaches that given requirements must be delivered in stone, with no hooks for modifications and replacements, like there will be no changes literally coming tomorrow. It is time to explain what a flexible solution means. Flexibility, an ability of adopting changes, may be graded from low to high. How an adoption is realized, by changing internal actions or by changing the order of actions, is irrelevant to the concrete final result. However, the particular way of adoption can influence the cost of adoption. If the adoption of changes is cheap, this indirectly means that the adoption is easy, i.e., flexibility is probably high. In numeric expression, flexibility may be associated with a grade defined against a scale. There may be many different concepts of the scale, and we offer just three simple ones. Putative, the subjective or commonly recognized scale. Relative, created via comparison of analogous results for the known set of cases. Alternatively, this scale may be called comparative. Empirical, based on the historical data of relative scales created in the past. I prefer an empirical scale because I can construct and enhance it based on several estimates. Let's assume I have 5 alternative solutions of the same problem and have estimated flexibility for each of them. I can create an empirical scale for alternative solutions of the same problem. To construct a scale, I sort estimates and calculate normalized value for each of them. The normalized values form the scale. This scale comprises 5 grades, and we can compare our 5 alternative solutions among themselves. Also, if we have a historical scale based on solutions for different problems, we can find how the flexibility of our solution sits with the flexibility of others. Flexibility estimate process may be viewed from several different perspectives, such as technical, managerial, financial, and others. We have chosen a financial perspective as the form that is agnostic to the particular business or technology. Cost measurement is more familiar to decision makers who are accustomed to deal with this obstacle on a daily basis. The flexibility estimate process consists of 5 steps: parameterization, normalization, application of a concern factor, averaging, and sorting. This process can be applied to 2 solutions as minimum, but the more solutions are compared, the better result may be obtained. Parameterization step operates with following parameters: an actual cost of making a change, ACC, to a solution, a cost of the solution maintenance, COM, combined with the cost of adjusting, refining, integrating existing systems operations to make them work with the changed solution, time to market, TTM, of the changed solution. Values for these parameters should be defined for each compared solutions. Normalization step uses the same normalization algorithm that I described for calculating the scale. That is, analogous parameters from 2 or more compared solutions have to be sorted and related to the maximum value. A concern factor is a set of subjective weights defined by the solution stakeholders. These values reflect stakeholders' priorities and concerns. If a set is defined for parameters of one solution, it must be applied as is to parameters of other solutions. The concern factors elements are multipliers of the parameters defined in the parameterization step. For example, a stakeholder suggests that for certain business cases, the TTM is more important than the ACC and COM. Therefore, the effect of having a shorter time to market has to have higher influence, i.e., its weight has to be more than the weights for other parameters. However, we can discard ACC and COM in full because they also affect the final decision. In the averaging step, I calculate an average values of the normalized parameters adjusted by the concern factor for a particular solution. The same should be performed for each solution. Thus, each solution is associated with only one figure, FE, standing for flexibility estimate. Sorting step sets average figures in an order and allows to find the minimum value in a row. Rule: the solution associated with the minimum averaged value is declared the most flexible. Example: in this example, I compare 2 solutions. The first solution represents a quick and dirty approach that has relatively cheap implementation and quick time to market, but the cost of its maintenance is almost 4 times more than the cost of development. This is because of the cost of bug fixing, compensation to suffered customers, and cost of updates. The figures for the second solution are typical to applying a service-oriented approach to the same task. That is, the cost of the change and time to market are 25% higher than for the quick and dirty approach, but the maintenance cost is 3 times less. This drop in the cost may be attributed to the easiness of changing the service in the maintenance stage. The stakeholders set the concern factor in a way where a weight of time to market is 10 times more than the weights of change and maintenance costs. That is, the stakeholders were concerned about speedy delivery at that time and tried to ignore the consequences of their requirement, i.e. the cost of maintenance. As the averaging results show, the quick and dirty solution leads to the flexibility estimate value of 2.63, while a more expensive initially service-like solution gives me only 2.42. This means that the service-like solution may have higher ROI and a longer lifetime and be easier and cheaper to modify, i.e. higher overall revenue in spite of a longer time to market. All solutions of business problems, including technical solutions, may be more or less flexible with respect to coming changes. The more flexible a current solution is, the cheaper and faster it can adopt a change and gain competitive advantage in the market in the long run. In contrast, a quick and dirty solution provides some cost saving today, but it is likely they will lose tomorrow. The demonstrated flexibility estimate methods operates with the business and technologically agnostic parameters such as cost of change implementation, cost of solution maintenance, and further changes, and time to market. This method can be extended by additional parameters used in the same manner as described. The flexibility estimate method would help management professionals to recognize the value of innovative solutions in spite of an increase of initial investments up to 25%. This number is typical for solutions that use service orientation as the major solution concept. Please allow me to thank you for your time and attention. I hope you have found useful information in the course. If you have any related questions, please post them in the related forum on the same website, and will do my best to respond as soon as I can. Also, you are very welcome to post your opinion and considerations about the course in the same forum. If you have a consulting proposal with regard to this or another course or blog post, please use Contact Me instant messaging on the same website to contact me directly. Thank you again, and good luck. I hope that was all right. Recorded.